he's one of those people that doesn't really get mentioned in like the best rapper ever category, but he definitely should. What's going on YouTube? Taylor Prentice back here with another video. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about 5 rappers that I grew up listening to as a kid. So I was born in 1998. So if you guys were born around the same time as me, leave a comment down below. Let me know who you guys were listening to when you grew up. And if you're older or younger, let me know who you guys grew up listening to as well, because I'm always interested in hearing. But let's just go ahead and get right on into it. So the first on my list is Lil Wayne, which pretty much anyone could have guessed. He pretty much dominated from like 2005 to 2015. He pretty much like just went on a tear. I mean, like the Carter 3, the Carter 4, some of my most memorable albums of all time. I remember like being in the car with my brother and his friend, and actually my grandpa actually took him to go buy the Carter 3, and I remember my grandpa asked if my brother's friend wanted to listen to it in the car, and he was just like, I don't think you'd like this type of music, which he definitely wouldn't have. But yeah, the Carter 3 was definitely one of the albums that's definitely stuck with me forever and always will. And the No Ceilings mixtape was one of the first like mixtapes that I really remember getting into. I like was a kid and didn't have like that much access to computers and anything like that, so I would pretty much only listen to albums and stuff that like my brother or dad had bought on our iTunes. But a kid on the bus, like on the way to school, showed me No Ceilings, and Watch My Shoes automatically became like my favorite Wayne song of all time. And yeah, pretty much ever since I can remember listening to music, I remember listening to Lil Wayne. He was definitely like one of my first intros into rap music, which is a nice segue into the next person, which is along the same vein, is Eminem. If you grew up in the early 2000s, you definitely listened to Eminem. He was just a huge artist. He's still one of the most streamed artists out there. I think he even does way better numbers streaming than Lil Wayne does, which kind of surprises me, because I feel like Lil Wayne's got a lot more classic songs than Eminem. Not to knock Eminem, but I feel like Lil Wayne's songs aged a little bit better than Eminem. But Eminem was just, I mean, there's not really much to say about it. He's just a huge artist that took a lot of risks that not most people were taking. And he was one of the only white rappers. So being a white kid from the suburbs, I definitely gravitated towards that. And the movie 8 Mile is like one of my favorite movies of all time. I actually used to watch it like all the time, like literally like almost like every night, because it would be on TV pretty much all the time back when like I watched normal TV. Just crazy how times have changed, because now everything's through streaming and stuff, and I haven't watched 8 Mile since like I watched normal TV like that. But I used to watch it all the time, and I just loved that movie and loved Eminem's story. For some reason, it was just super cool. And the music, while it hasn't aged super well, I still think Eminem will go down as one of the best rappers of all time. And I do think his later work in his career has kind of tarnished his legacy, because if you go back and listen to some of his earlier music, like the flows and just the lyrics are pretty impeccable, and he was definitely on another level that I don't think people realize, because his last couple projects have been, I hate to say it, but like just kind of corny, where he's calling himself like rap god and stuff, and he's just rappity, where he has like no flow, whereas like he used to be one of the best when it came to flow, and I think people tend to forget that. So I just wanted to get that out there, because I feel like he gets disrespected a lot of the time, and while I kind of can't understand it, he's definitely one of the people that got me so far into rap music. So I owe him a lot for just getting my interest peaked in this category of music. And then moving on to the third artist on this list, we have another movie that I loved watching as a kid, and used to be on TV all the time, so I haven't really seen it in a while, but that's Get Rich or Die Trying. So 50 Cent. 50 Cent is definitely one of the first artists I ever remember listening to. I remember my brother had the Get Rich or Die Trying mixtape, and I just thought it was super cool seeing him with like the bullet shot in the album cover or whatever. I thought that was like super cool, and I just love gangster rap for some reason. Even though like I'm just a white kid from the suburbs, gangster rap has always been like my kind of thing, and maybe it's just because I grew up listening to people like 50 Cent, but he definitely has had probably the biggest influence out of all the people that I've listed so far in terms of my sound and like what music I like to listen to, which I don't really listen to too many New York rappers these days, but just like the samples and types of beats he rapped on are still my favorite types of beats. Like Best Friend, I think might be one of my favorite beats of all time. And 50 was just on a whole nother level, and I also feel like he's one of those people that doesn't really get mentioned in like the best rapper ever category, but he definitely should. And this is a really bold statement, but he's definitely my favorite New York rapper of all time. No offense to people like Jay-Z or whoever you want to talk about. 50 is just my goat when it comes to New York. And yeah, I probably listen to him the most out of all the rappers on this list still. Next, we've got someone who isn't super popular these days, I feel like, and that's Nelly. So Nelly had so many hits when we were younger, like Ride With Me and Grills, and I remember like Grills, the music video. Like I used to, when I was a kid, literally all I would do in the summer especially would just go to my grandma's or grandparents and just watch BET and MTV music videos all day long pretty much, and then like watch 106 in Park when it came on. So pretty much all I cared about was like music, and yeah, Nelly the Grills video was going crazy. Okay, I probably saw that music video like 1,000 times. So it totally makes sense as I got older and figured out like more about YouTube, where like that's all I would do is sit on YouTube and just watch music videos and go into like rabbit holes and find super underground artists and all that. But yeah, that whole culture for me started from when I was a little kid, and the Nelly Grills music video definitely was a big help into getting me into that phase. Nelly was the first CD I ever had. Like I actually gave it away at my last car that I gave away because I still had it stuck in my CD drive and I didn't realize it when I got rid of the car. But the CD was pretty scratched up anyway, so wasn't the best. But Country Grammar is a great album, and I'm really happy that it's on streaming services and stuff now, because it would really suck to have lost that album forever. You can find me in St. Louis where the gunplay ran all day. But anyways, yeah, just Nelly has undeniable hits and I think deserves more credit as well. And then last but not least, my love for trap music had to come from somewhere, and my love for southern music had to come from somewhere, and that is T.I. So some people call T.I. the king of trap music or the creator of trap music, which might be undeniable. He does have like the first album of all time called Trap Music, and yeah, I just love that like Dirty South type of beats and just rapping. The southern beats are always my favorite. I love the way that the South uses samples and just is really gritty, and I just love that like kind of grungy vibe that they put on to rap music. And nowadays, like my favorite playlist on Spotify is my Down South Classics, and T.I.'s got some certified bangers on there. But like Whatever You Like was my first ringtone as a kid when I was in like 5th grade. So yeah, he was just another artist for me that's really nostalgic and has a lot of hits. And it's been kind of weird to watch him turn into like a weirdo over time. But regardless of how he acts nowadays, it's hard to say that he doesn't have amazing music from back in the day. And yeah, I think he's responsible for finding people like Young Thug and like Travis Scott and even like Iggy Azalea. So he's done well for us even after his like rap career, even though I think he still makes music here and there. But yeah, he's another person that was like the man when I was a kid, so I thought I would definitely include him on this list. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I will be doing a video of people I listened to like once I got into middle school. This is pretty much prior to me getting into middle school, so like elementary school and before that. But yeah, let me know who you guys were listening to when you grew up. I think my list of 5 was really strong and are people that I could definitely still listen to today. There's no one on the list that I'd be like, no, don't play their music. Eminem, I don't really want to hear his new music. Like anything past like Rebirth, I don't really care about. But I can still go back and listen to his old stuff and some of like the D12 stuff. Looking back on it, it totally makes sense why I've arrived at the music taste that I have as an adult. I'm really happy to have grown up listening to the music that I did, because I grew up on like strictly just rap music. Another honorable mention for this video was Ludacris. Ludacris was another person that I would listen to pretty regularly. Like Chicken and Beer was one of the first albums that I had to like on a disc that I stole from my brother. But yeah, I thought it was a really cool time when I grew up, because it wasn't so oversaturated with music. And being from Indiana, I was not someone who was like really tapped into music as a little kid. And I came from a family where no one really listened to rap besides my brother. So, and now he doesn't even listen to rap. So it's kind of weird how it all works. But yeah, I'm super happy that I came up the way that I did. And if you guys are curious about like what fashion I was into as a kid, I'm going to be releasing a video here soon on that too. So hit subscribe and like if you've enjoyed this video, so you guys can see me talking about what fashion brands I liked as a kid, and to see what music I liked like in middle school and high school and in college, because we'll dive into all that. But anyways, if you made it to this point, thank you so much for watching and have a good one. Thank you.